Hey friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to hell. Welcome to Whoop Wednesday. I have now chased the RC drift cars with DJI O4, and we're going to be talking about it tonight. Had a little. This was totally like a testing session, because this Saturday I wasn't even going to go tonight, but this Saturday. They're having a whole bunch of drivers come in from out of town that are like really, really good. And so I decided like last minute to go test. The main thing I was worried about is whatever lights. I wanted to see if the lights that they had set up there were going to flicker, especially at like 120 frames a second, which what you were just watching is 4K 60 and it was totally fine. I've looked at the 120 frames a second and they're not flickering there as well. There is a problem though that we're going to talk about with the 120 frame footage, which is basically that there's not enough light in there. So yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure something out. It's in order to brighten things up, I got to push the ISO all the way up to like I mean, at least 1600, if not 3200. And at that point, the noise is going to start to get like real noticeable. I'm already noticing the noise at 800, at a max of 800. I am running it on auto. I've got the ISO set to not go over 800, and then I have the shutter set to full-blown auto. In a low light scenario like this, the shutter is just as slow as it can be the whole time. And so when I'm on 4K 60, the shutter is at like 1/60th. And then when I bumped up to 1080, 120 frames, the shutter is at like 1/120th, which is just not quite enough. So, yeah, a little bit of farting around to do there. I'm gonna. I used to bring a couple of light stands with a few fairly bright LED lights, nothing crazy, with me. And so I'm probably going to set those up again. What's cool about that is I put them like in the corners, and they're like, so right now it's just straight overhead light. So it's like the most boring light. I should have enough room in the corner. I don't know if there's an outlet over there though. But I'll figure it out. Drop these light stands down maybe on Saturday, and get some lower angle cross lighting going on, which will hopefully be just enough. But we'll see. The place is insane. They've moved to a gigantic location, and yeah, they're still getting everything set up. So I printed yellow yesterday, and so you're gonna see me ripping support material off of a whole bed of prints throughout the course of the stream tonight. Hey, is the brim the what's this down here? This little curtain that it puts outside of the print to get it to stick better to the bed. I'm having a hell of a time getting these things off the. So I'm using the textured plate, and I don't think I need this much to keep it stuck down, and it's making it really tough for me to get these off the bed. Denzilla says it is the brim. Okay, turn it off for TPU. Brim, yes. Okay, cool. So bed adhesion. I had a feeling it was brim because it's in here in bed adhesion. Skirt loops 0, skirt height 1, brim type auto, no brim. Awesome. All right, good deal. Thank you, friends. I've got orange TPU in the dryer. I'm not gonna run the 3D printer during the stream tonight like I did last time. So that I don't drive you guys completely insane. So yeah, but if you hear a little bit of a hum in the background, that's just the dehumidifier or the dryer, whatever the hell it's called, just cranking away. I think I need to change the support type too. I'm starting to have a hard time. Hey, so what? So to get stuff off the plate, I've been using plastic razor blades, which work astoundingly well. This is great for getting them off, but that brim, just getting this under that brim, I'm having to change these plastic razor blades out like every 2 per plate to be able to get under there. And it just doesn't seem like there's any reason to have the brim. They're buried on there. So, but yeah, this has been working amazing. Hey, if the TPU is not dry enough, what is it? What's like what's the symptom? What happens? What's the deal there? I want to start like learning so that I can troubleshoot this when, you know what I mean? And I'm also trying to figure out like how long. I mean, the paperwork that comes with the dehumidifier dryer thing says like 5 to 6 hours for TPU in there. I haven't quite been giving it that much time. But splutters, bubbles, and crap. Bubbles. Ah, okay. I have not heard or seen any bubbles, so I assume that I'm fine. I'm using all SaneSmart TPU, and I'm playing around with like the orientation of how I put these on the plate, and then I'm trying to pay attention to how difficult it is to remove the support material. Sometimes it seems super easy to remove. Sometimes it's really, really tough. And so I'm just trying to change something different every time. I'm gonna go back to the normal support type. So oh wait, no, somebody told me to try a different tree support type. It was Hypnos, I believe. Let me see. Hypnos, yeah. Tree support and then tree slim, he said. I'll give it a shot on this next run. Tree and then slim. What's that going to look like? I tried the normal tree supports before, and for these tiny little prints, it just wasn't quite right. The supports were really big. Maybe these slim tree supports. Let's take a look. If there are like more little branches, yeah, there are. Oh, cool. I like this. Yeah, when I used the tree supports before, there would just be like one main branch, and that wasn't enough. It looks like this slim tree breaks it off into more little branches. Very cool. All right, so this is, I'm going to try this on the orange prints that I'll do at the end of the live stream tonight. Very cool. I'm trying to change like one thing at a time as I go through these to just try different things and kind of figure it out. I continue to be absolutely blown away by this Bamboo Lab A1 Mini. It's just like, it's me proof. Which is crazy. It is absolutely dummy proof. Really, really, really cool. I'm kind of annoyed that I waited so long, but at the same time, I'm kind of happy that I did. So, like, this is just, look how good this is. Like, I've done the tiniest little bit of tuning by just like stealing other people's stuff. But, like, I swear to God, it looked this good without any of the tweaking that I did. There's not a whole lot I can do. I mean, I can hit it, and, like, sometimes that'll get it to work. Look at that, man. Look at it. It's a tiny little print. Okay, I can't stand it. I'm gonna smash it into 1,000 pieces if I have to. So that's the plan for tonight, my friends. As always, this is a Q&A live stream, so ask any questions that you've got in the chat. Did I mention mailbag? You guys will get to gaze upon the majesty of my mailbag tonight, so we got that going for you. And I'm gonna put all this flight footage on and just let it roll. Cool. In the chat, Brad Bruce is first, Nate Adams, Douglas 6, RC Thrills 70, William Loesch, Frank Nichols, Mike K, Andrew Taylor, William Loesch, Mr. Meaty, Yin Yang 08, Islander. Shout out to Yin Yang 08. He's taken Crom's Batwing for O4 mount and run with it. And he's doing some different stuff. Hey, Yin Yang, if you're still in here, before I went tonight, so Yin Yang had mentioned that he looked at the black box logs from his. I think he has basically this exact same setup. And he says the black box is kind of a mess. And I have a feeling that has to do with the fact that the existing O4 Batwing mount, it does not have the camera pushed into the frame. One of the things that that when Timmons and I were bouncing back and forth on the original Batwing mount for the walk snail Lite, I kept asking Timmons to make sure that the camera was being pushed back into the front part, into this round part here, into this round part of the frame, so that it kind of triangulates the camera, right? The Batwing holds on the right side, it holds on the left side, and it pulls the camera into the frame. So you've got 3 points of contact with that camera, rather than just having 2 points of contact where the camera can wiggle like this, wiggle like this. It wouldn't want to go up and down. It would technically be able to go forward and back. So it can go forward and back, it can wiggle like this, and it would also technically be able to wiggle like that. But you push it back, you get that third point of contact, and I guess technically it could bounce forward and back, but that's about it. And so before I went tonight, I just took a piece of VHB and doubled it up, double folded it, and stuck it between the frame and the camera. Because right now, this mount has the camera floating forward. And so I think that's why, Yin Yang, you've got all that noise in the black box log. So yeah, I just took a little doubled up. I cut a piece of VHB like this, and then I just folded it like that, and I just shoved it in there. And it seemed to work fine. There was no problems whatsoever with the tune, and like I can actually feel that the camera is like stuck to it. But I would love it. I mean, like this is fine, but I think it's just as changing this mount to pull the camera back a little bit will also work totally fine. To just force the camera up against the frame itself, because yeah. There's no... But the existing O4 mounts, if you guys are going to print one of those out, yeah, just put a little piece of... Initially, I thought, like, I'll just put a piece of foam back there. But then I looked, and I was like, ooh, that gap is, like, damn near perfect for a little piece of VHB. And so, yeah, the VHB is working really well. What I don't like about the VHB is it kind of messes with the up tilt. Although the up tilt is damn near perfect right now. The this mount that I'm using is the 10 degree. It's the most. I'll tell you right now. Hold on. It's the 3D print files O4 Batwing 10 degree. So this is the 10 degree mount, but the mount sits up against the ducts, and the ducts are kind of angled inwards. So you end up with this 10 degree mount. For me, I end up with 0 degrees of up tilt, or maybe like 1 degree of up tilt, which is kind of perfect because I'm flying backwards quite a bit. And so, yeah, I asked Crom and Yin Yang to do a higher up tilt version of the mount to offset the fact that the mount is sitting against the ducts, which are angled backwards a little bit. You don't have to do that. You can just hook the Batwing on the hooks and let it sit vertical, and then you would get 20 degrees. But I'm worried that that's going to allow it to kind of move. I like to push the TPU all the way back up against the actual ducts. Let's see if I can show you what I'm talking about. This might be kind of hard for you guys to visualize. See that there? See how it's the mounting part is kind of sinking in. I like that because it's really solid and firm. And like at some point, I'll probably put little dots of of E6000 there to really hold it. But yeah, if you look at it like this, right, like you can see the up tilt. You can see the up tilt, but then the up tilt just gets eaten up by the way that those mounting arms, yeah, there you go. You can really see it, right? And so, yeah. But, and oh, yeah, there you can see the little bit of, what's that called? I just said it a minute ago. VHB. Little doubled up piece of VHB there. Which worked hilariously well. So, yeah, this is great. I did like 8 batteries with it. I crashed the shit out of it, and it was completely fine. If you're going to do this build, make sure that you prep your camera. Make sure that you get a bead of E6000 around the bottom of the camera plug, which we've talked about before. Also, Mads Tech has a video about it showing where the O4 Lite camera fails. And he talks about in the video, like, just super simple little fix. Just make sure that you make that fix. That's going to be important for this setup because the camera is just hanging out here all fucking all asking to be destroyed. But yeah, this thing performed great. I did have to take the top spin motors off. I cannot get these new Happy Model Tiny Whoop top spin motors to not have the propellers hitting on the ducts, on the duct supports. I measured one of these motors on the last live stream, and I found that it mounts the propeller 1 full millimeter lower. During the live stream, I said 0.4 of a millimeter. That was me comparing it to the Happy Model motors with a 1.5 millimeter motor shaft, and that 1.5 mil shaft, it mounts the prop a little bit lower than the regular 1 mil shaft. So yeah, word of warning, the top spin motors are going to have your propellers sitting 1 full millimeter lower in the ducts, which is a lot. So I moved this thing back over to an old school set of Tiny Whoop Happy Model, the green ones, the 36,000, the Fireflies, which I had a set of these floating around, and all of the problems that I was having with it went away. The problems were that the propellers were hitting the duct supports, which is something that we've dealt with a whole bunch of times over the last couple of years. It's why my absolute favorite frame, it's one of the main reasons that my favorite frames are the Cockroach 65 V3 and the Lite AF. These are the only two frames that have shortened the distance between the bottom of the motor and the actual prop guard. And so, yeah, if you're, but on those, so those frames are going to be the best frames for these top spin motors, because the motor to the stator base to prop mounting is the shortest possible distance. But even on these frames, the prop is sitting too low. So yeah, I don't. If you were to use these motors in any of the other frames, the old school Meteor 65, the Weebleed Crown, the Air 65 frame, or the Mobula 6 2024 frame, the propeller would be like, on the old motors, which were a millimeter higher, the propeller was almost completely below the prop guard area. To now put the propeller another millimeter lower, like, I'm not sure what frame these motors were tested on. I would like to know, though, because if there's a frame that has shortened this distance even more, that's the one that I want to run, especially with these motors, because these motors are awesome. The new method of connecting the motor shaft to the bell is fantastic. But yeah, they mount the prop too low. So I'm going to kind of be hoarding as many of the old school Happy Model motors as I can, because I'm kind of afraid that they're all going to go to this bell design. And this bell design is not for me. So yeah, that's interesting, let's say. I was getting too, well, so should we just dive? I think I've covered everything. Oh, I didn't, well, who else is in the chat? Islander FPV, Texas UIV Source, Michael K, Brand Anderson, Stefan for Elements, Denzel the Terrible, Brand Anderson, Sleepy CBR, Render, Himox, RC Thrills, Lewis, EUC, Islander, Frank Nicholas. Well, YouTube just did the thing, so if you didn't get your shout out, come to the next stream, say something. If you want to talk to me directly, type CiottiFPV into your chat comment. It'll light up an orange for me. You can do that with each other. If you want to get somebody's attention, type their name, spell it right, and for that person, it'll light up an orange. And then to support me, because this is a completely crowd-funded thing here, head on over to CiottiFPV.com and click all the buttons. Patreon helps me out the most. It is the only way that I can do this full-time. The bigger we grow the Patreon, the more stuff that I can test, the more money that I can save you by telling you that a lot of things are garbage. That's one of the nice things about this being crowdfunded, is that I don't have to worry about a company not sending me stuff anymore because I keep saying it's crap. You guys keep this thing going, and so every single review that I do, I give it to you straight. And if it sucks, I tell you it sucks, and I tell you not to buy it. And if it's great, I tell you it's great. Help the people that make the things. Help me help you. Help me help you. Etsy has a ton of fun stuff. Fiverr, you can work one-on-one with me, take advantage of over 8 years of knowledge. Teespring has some fun shirts and apparel. Make sure you take pictures of yourself wearing it so I can put it on my Instagram. PayPal if you want to support me directly, but you don't want to do a super chat because you know YouTube and Google are going to take 30%. Searchable live stream transcripts at this link. Thank you, Craig. Very, very cool. And then lots of affiliate links. Change all your bookmarks over to somebody's affiliate links. Support people so that they can make stuff for you to watch for free on YouTube. I have affiliate links to Amazon, Get FPV, Pyrodrone, Race Day Quads, Newbie Drone, Weebleed, Beta FPV, FPV Cycle, Hazingi, Oh My God, Brain 3D, HD0, Flywheel, Emacs, Banggood, Camera Butter, and AliExpress. Change all your bookmarks. If you don't use bookmarks and you just type like AMA for Amazon in here, remove your current Amazon suggestion and then hit my Amazon affiliate link a few times in a row. And then your browser will start suggesting my affiliate link when you type AMA for Amazon. That's how you support me, friends. Thank you for all the help that you continue to give me. I think that's everything. DJI O4. So I'm sure the first question that everybody has is it easier or hard? Like, do I notice that it's harder to chase the RC drift? All right. So for anybody that hasn't seen me chase the RC drift cars before, it is some of the, if not the most challenging flying that I've ever done. They are absolutely, they're like this big and they're about this tall. And so I'm trying to fly the entire time. If this is the ground, I'm trying to fly at this height the whole time. So 1 inch off the ground, right? Like when I'm like 2 inches off the ground, it looks stupid because I'm looking down at them. I'm trying to stay stupidly low to the ground. And basically I'm trying to fly down in ground effect the entire time, which is just so hard, right? Like the air being pushed down off the propellers is hitting the ground. It's bouncing back up. It's swirling to the sides. It's moving all over the place. It is outrageously difficult to do. It is a great way of getting good at flying low to the ground, though. It is swinging with a weighted bat times 1,000. And you should go do it. RC drifting is a much more popular hobby than FPV. And so there's probably a group of guys doing it near you that you should go join, because they will love to have you, giving them flight footage of them driving around. And you will have more fun than like anything that you've ever done with FPV. It really is unbelievable. Like, it's fun because it's super challenging, but it's also fun because you're chasing little RC drift cars. Like you're getting to experience subject-driven flying in a scenario that is 1,000% safe, where you're like not breaking anything really, and it's all of the things that are amazing about tiny whooping, and then like the adrenaline dump of chasing mixed with the incredible challenge, right? And this just like, you know, gotta get good, put in batteries. And so, about a year and a half ago, actually, it really has been that long. I found a local group and started going and chasing around with a bunch of analog rigs. This is what spawned the Batwing mount, as I affectionately call it, because it kind of looks like a little batarang, right? Sort of. This mount, Timmons created at my request in order to get the camera as far forward as possible and as low as possible. Because when you're chasing these guys, you're flying really low to the ground. If you can move, the difference of having the camera up here where it normally is and down here is actually like massive. When I chase little RC drift cars with like a regular style rig, it's way harder. And the footage is way less impressive just from that little bit of a change, because the car is only this tall. So if I have the camera here versus here, that's the difference between the camera being like on their door versus on their roof line. Also, the lower the camera is, when you're going forward, the more obvious it is how low you are to the ground. When the camera is up here in the middle on top, you bump into the ground all the time. With the camera up front and down low, it's like the lowest point, you know what I mean? And so the ground comes like halfway up the frame, and you know that you're really low to the ground. Initially, I used the fractal frames, but unfortunately, they've got that carbon fiber brace on the bottom, which blocks a bunch of the thrust, so you get worse flight performance and worse runtime. And then it also hard mounts the motors, right? The motors are mounted to carbon fiber. And these little motors have really thin little 1mm motor shafts. So you end up bending a lot of motor shafts because the motors are so solidly mounted in carbon fiber. With tiny whoops, you never want to do that. You always want a plastic frame that's going to bend a little bit. The reason that tiny whoops are so one of the reasons they're so durable is that there's bend and there's give. We're very lucky that with these tiny little rigs, they spin like horrendously high RPMs, because that makes the filtering, that makes the PID loops, the filtering built into the PID loops job a lot easier, because those higher RPM, higher frequency vibrations are much easier to filter out. So take advantage of that and run a plastic frame that's going to make your motors last way longer. There's basically no benefits to running a carbon fiber frame. Filtering is not an issue on these little things. It is super, super, super simple to get a rockin' PID tune on these guys with a wobbly-ass plastic frame. And then you get all the benefits of this wobbly-ass frame. When you crash, it slowly absorbs all that energy. Versus with carbon fiber frames, when you crash, like, it's just all the energy has to get eaten up all at once, right? There's an ant on the desk. What is the deal with, like, one ant being on the desk? There's only ever just this one. And he runs around, and I'll usually pick him up, and I'll throw him towards the door. Come on, you little bastard. Get on there. Where'd you go? I don't want to squash him. I'm going to accidentally squash him. I tried, little buddy. I tried. So yeah, the Batwing mount is absolutely amazing for this style of like cinematic flight. It gets the ducts out of view. It puts the camera up front really low, and it doesn't obstruct any thrust, right? Like, we've got totally clean cones of thrust coming off these motors. It's completely out of the way. And then you also get to use like the regular battery mounting of the frame, right? You don't have to like cut the ducts off or any of that nonsense. It's just the slickest, simplest, best performing way of getting no duct in view flight footage from a tiny whoop. It's really, 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 really good. Timmons did an amazing job on this mount. There is only one frame though that this works on, which is the Newbie Drone Cockroach V3. Cockroach 65 V3, because this frame has these little hooks on it. The hooks on the frame are actually meant to go in the rear to put a little a little T-style antenna on, like a little ELRS miniature T antenna. But we turn it around and we use the hooks in the front for the batwing to hook onto, and it's just amazing. It's just so good. It really just works perfect. You angle the mount down to get it over the hook, and then the hook holds it on, and there's this little outside piece that we've got this little cutout for here, and it's incredible. It just absolutely stays on there, and yeah. We've got versions of it for all kinds of different cameras now. Runcam Nano 3, Walk Snail camera, Newbie Drone BI. Basically all of the cameras with that regular sized front lens, which is like the BI, the Walk Snail. There's a whole bunch. They are available for download on my Discord, which is linked over on CiottiFPV.com, and there's a thread on the Discord, there's a 3D printing text channel. In that 3D printing text channel, there's a thread called Batwing, and that's got the whole conversation and lots of different versions of it. Shout out to Timmons for doing a ton of the original Batwing designs, and then shout out to Crom and Yin Yang for taking those original designs and adapting them to the O4 camera. And yeah, it's just super fun. So I spent about an hour and a half tonight chasing the little RC drift cars around. Here comes some of the flight footage. I'm just going to let the flight footage roll. I haven't watched it yet. I literally walked in the door. Oh, here, this is fun. So this is when... So I've got a... Hold on. I put the battery... Hang on. I got to get this out of full screen. Let me talk about this the right way. So on this version, I put the battery back. I rotated the AIO and I put the battery facing backwards so that the plug is up front here. The reason why I did that is we're adding some weight off axis here. We've got the weight of the camera all the way forward. And so I wanted to put some weight on the back to get the CG centered. Right now, with no battery in it, the CG is forward a little bit. See it wanting to slant? When I pick it up even, it's not that bad. There you go. See, so the CG is a little bit forward on this thing because of the camera. So what I did is I put the battery, I reversed the AIO so that the battery goes towards the back, because these 300 mAh batteries, you end up, I mean, you can center them, but you can also not center them, which is the deal here. And so what you can do is you can take this battery in this frame and you can push it all the way back like that. And so now you've got more battery in the back than in the front. So what that does is it fixes the center of gravity. So now the center of gravity is damn near perfect on this thing again with that battery like that, right? And so I used one of these awesome little Tiny Whoop LED 180 degree BT 2.0 things, which have little LEDs in them. And I used the white LEDs under the thinking of like, oh, it could be like a little headlight, like two little white LEDs on the front of this thing. I didn't think they would be as bright as they are. And so this quick little test is with those on. So that's what you're seeing here on the ground, is you're seeing those little white LEDs. I was thinking they would be like kind of dim, but they're not. They're pretty bright. And so what I ended up doing is I took some black E6000 and I covered them up after this test flight, because as you'll see in a little bit, when I fly low to the ground, they're pretty obnoxious. And so this is the very first battery on this rig, just kind of testing it during a live stream, just kind of floating it around the basement here. So I'll just let this play so that you can see the effect that those little LEDs have on the ground. Um, I don't I don't know if I will ever take the black E6000 off of them. But you know, I can just peel it off with my fingernail if I ever need to. If I ever need headlights on this thing, I've got them. There you go. Now you can see it on the ground there. All right, so that's just, you know, it's funny and it's kind of cool, but like it's only on the bottom, you know, like it's not lighting up anything in front, and it's yeah, it's not really something I want. There you can see it in the mirror. And so yeah, that was like the little test here. I will surely mess around with it again in the future, chasing the little RC drift cars. They were talking tonight about they want to do like some night drifting, and so yeah, at some point I'll mess around with it again, but I don't think it's going to look quite right. I think it was a fun thing to try, but yeah, it's not going to be the way to go, I don't think. All right, so there you go. On to the RC drifting. So, first battery is 20% throttle expo, which is fairly low. I usually run upwards of 50 to chase these guys because it's just so difficult to maintain that super low altitude. And so I want you to notice how bouncy I am. And then the second battery that we watch, I bumped it up to 30%. And then I think the third battery, I bumped it all the way up to 50%. And each time it was a massive improvement. So now this new spot is polished concrete. The old spot was carpet. And when these guys run on carpet, they run much, much faster. And those of you that have chased things know that the faster you can go, or just anybody that's flown really close to the ground and paid attention knows that the faster you go, the easier it is to fly really low. What the hell just happened? Why did it... That's weird that it stopped. The main reason is that the more you put the nose down, the more thrust goes rearwards rather than down. And so it's almost like natural expo in a way, right? Put the nose down. Like at some point you can put the nose down enough that that at full throttle only exactly enough thrust goes downwards to keep the damn thing from hitting the ground, right? And so yeah, the faster you go, the easier your throttle management is. These guys are now running on polished concrete, which is much slower. It's going to keep freezing like this. This computer sucks a bag of dicks. And so, yeah, these guys are going much slower, which makes it noticeably harder for me to really track them and just like stay right on their doors. And so I can't tell you whether or not O4 is more difficult than walk snail or analog, because I'm still like, you're literally watching me right now get used to the slower speeds that these guys are going, and you're gonna see me like really kind of struggling with it compared to, I mean, I also haven't done this in a bunch of months, so I was admittedly a little bit rusty, but yeah, this is not like the best. If you watched a bunch of the chasing I did towards the end of the year last year when I was like really dialed in, and now you're watching this and you're like, oh my God, O4 sucks for this. He can't do shit compared to what he was doing last year. It is way too early to make that judgment. I was only able to get like 8 batteries charged, and I was in kind of a hurry tonight. So this was really like just testing to see if the lights were going to flicker and just looking for like big problems. This Saturday, I'm going to bring all 16 batteries, and I'm even going to charge up a big ass 6S long range battery to recharge these on the fly with the Whoopster. And I'm going to fly walk snail, I'm going to fly analog, I'm going to fly O4, and I'm going to try to make a little bit more of a comparison between them. What I can say is eventually I was able to calm down. Like you'll see the next battery I'm flying a little bit better, and then the battery after that I'm gonna be flying even better. Um, from just adding more expo, just putting more and more expo in each one of these batteries, and eventually getting the expo all the way up to 50%. Really, really, really helped. And so that's yeah, that was pretty cool. And I'm also starting to learn this, the different speeds that these guys are going. Um, I think what I'm noticing is that they there's not as much of and I could be wrong. It is too early to really tell, but I think they go at a more constant speed right now, where they used to go like really pick up speed on the straight bits, and then they would slow way down in the corners. Everything that they're doing on this polished surface is significantly slower, but yeah, I think that the fastest that they go and the slowest that they go are more compressed now, which is actually really nice. It makes it easier for me to kind of like pick a speed and stay at that speed. One of the things I'm definitely having a hard time with is this wall with the mural on it being right next to the track surface. It is really, really, really difficult for me to get good coverage on that back straight because that wall is so close. But I'll figure it out. I'll learn to deal with that. There used to be like a 3 or 4 inch gap all the way around the track. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but like right there, for example, you can tell what a difference like a little tiny gap, right? Bang. Like being able to have that extra little bit of outside grass carpeting there, it's super helpful. So I'm just going to have to be ultra mindful on that backstretch of not letting myself swing outwards. And the outward swing I do a lot so that I can generate a bunch of momentum, so I can go backwards and track the front of the cars like you saw me just do there. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to learn to work around that. And I mean, I got plenty of room on the rest of the layout, so it's all good. That mural on the wall looks really, really cool. The track design is really nice. I like this track design a lot. And the guys seem to drive more consistently on this polished concrete surface. So like, even though it's technically harder for me to fly this versus the carpet, I think the fact that the drivers are more consistent kind of evens that out. And it's I think that once I get used to this, I'll be able to get all the same sort of angles and shots that I used to be able to get. So I think this is now maybe the second battery. So I think that I'm still bouncing quite a bit. So I'm pretty sure that on the next battery, you'll start to see the elevation control become a lot better. But yeah, just getting used to it, getting dialed in on the slower speeds. Man, it's been like 6 months since the old place closed. I forgot how much fun this is. This is like I started chasing these little RC drift cars at a time where like I'd been freestyle tiny whooping around the house a lot, and like I really needed it, and it really like revitalized FPV for me. I can totally feel that happening again already tonight. Like this is so challenging, and like the images that you can get are so fucking cool. Like this is just the best, man. You guys seriously need to build one of these rigs, or just don't build shit. Just take your existing tiny whoops out and do this. There is almost certainly a group near you. Go find them. This is just the coolest. So much fun, so difficult. This will really turbocharge your, see what I did there? Your throttle management skills. Yeah, incredibly fun. So I think now I've got 50 on the Throttle Expo. And so you're going to see the smoothness kind of return. So this is the whole place. This is their giant new spot. I can't believe how big it is. I'm absolutely thrilled. I never knew so the place is called Torque Motorsports, and they are at heart a sim rig place, as you're about to see here. They have a ton of sim rigs. Looks scared as shit. He was laughing. I was happy that he was laughing about it, but I had to visit these two guys. So yeah, Torque Motorsports is at its heart a sim rig place. And then they had like a little bit of extra space, so they put the little RC drift car track. It was always hard to tell. Like they were never like packed with people, so it was always kind of hard to tell. Like, are they doing okay? They must have been doing okay, because this new spot is absolutely gigantic, which is great. I'm super happy about that. So yeah, I can't wait to see how nuts this place is when it's done. They're going to be getting projectors, actually, to project on big-ass screens, and they're going to have the HDMI set up so that I can jack into it. So once I get on the Cosmo Streamer train, or I should also be able to hook up to the HD Zero goggles, just like I was doing at the old place with their televisions. I'll be able to put live flight footage up on the screens, which will just be super fun. And I will be harassing Torque Motorsports to hopefully let me do a fly through when they're done, that they will have to pay for, because it's going to be a proper fly through. But yeah, hopefully we can work together on that. That'd be super cool. So yeah, the from here on out, I've got full expo, and you'll see me kind of settle down and start to get some of the angles and whatnot that I used to be able to get. I did fly a couple of analog batteries with the Wandering Whoop, it was really tough because it has a bunch of up tilt. It has like 20 degrees of up tilt, and it has the camera up on top in the position that I don't like it. So it was a huge adjustment. So much so that like it didn't necessarily seem like it was any easier to fly than this O4 rig. So also this has all been, I think, hold on, let's see. Oh, hey, so now we're into 120 frames 1080. So that's why, that's why this is starting to look a little choppy here, right? So check this out. See how choppy this is? Ready? Watch this. Chop, 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 chop. See, it kind of looks like a flip book there. That's because the shutter speed is all the way down at 1/120, in order to get the 120 frames a second. But look how fucking cool this is. Being able to slow this all the way down to 25% speed and still have 30 frames is just mega. You can almost always slow down to 15 frames and it still looks pretty cool, which is this right here. This program is not doing a good job blending the frames together. But yeah, this is 25% speed at 120 frames a second. So butter smooth, because we're taking 100 frames, we're going down to 60 at 50% speed and 30 at quarter speed. And this is really, really fun. Seeing all the little motions and all the little movements at 120 frames is going to be really, really, really fun. When I fly in this super high frame rate, I'll try to fly a lot more violent, because the only real reason to do it is that you're going to slow the footage down. And so, yeah, if you see some choppiness, it's because I'm in 120. The majority of the flying, though, will be 4K 60, because playing that at full speed is going to look a lot better. And then, you can always drop it down to 50% speed and still get that and still get every single frame. Also, playing 120 frames a second at full speed, it gives you that kind of flip book look, because you're losing for every frame that you get, you're losing 3 frames. Premiere and DaVinci Resolve do have something called frame interpolation or frame smoothing, which tries to kind of combine the frames together in between. Like, so if you give it footage that's 120 frames or 60 frames, and then your timeline is set to 30, it will do a little bit of this like blending, but it's not quite right. It doesn't look quite right. In my opinion, I don't really notice much of a difference either. So yeah, this is now at 25% speed. Let's see if there's any super cool moments in here. I don't think I'm going to do an edit with this flight footage. One of the things that I screwed up on, if you'll notice, this is dark. This is a little bit too dark. When it dropped the shutter speed down to 1/120, I noticed that it got a little bit dark and it was struggling. But I said, you know what? This is a test. This is a little test session. Let me just leave it and I'll see how dark it actually looks on a monitor. This is a little bit too dark. I will drop this into Premiere after the stream and push the exposure up a bunch to see what happens, but I don't think that's going to work because it's already at ISO 800 here, and so it's going to have noise. And so if I start pushing the exposure up, that noise is going to become really obvious. So yeah, yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna. We just need more light. The proper solution is more light in here, and so hopefully they can maybe hang another. So right now they've got one single LED strip hung from the ceiling. If they can at least hang a second one, ideally, the way light works, if you double up the amount of light, you only get like 50% more light. It's the inverse square law, right? So it's square. The keyword there is square. So if you turn on a second light, you don't get twice as much. You only get 50% more. So if they can hang one more light strip, that would be great. If they can hang 3 more light strips, that would be insane. I doubt I'll be able to get them to do that. But you never know. What would be really cool. But I know that they're expensive. But the ultimate baller setup back there would be the company that does the floors. Yeah, Race Deck. This Race Deck Garage Floors company, they make these hexagon LED lights, and these look so fucking cool. They look really cool because of the direct reflections that they throw on the cars. Like here, for example, like look how cool that direct reflection looks on the car. You know what I mean? So that would be like the ultra baller setup to have there. And then I would have just tons of light. But as you can see, they are pretty expensive. Although it looks like there's a bunch of them on knockoff ones on AliExpress for like not a lot of money. So yeah, of course there is. Why wouldn't there be? But yeah, that would just be ridiculous, would be to have the hexagon lights up there. I'll suggest it, and it is what it is. Oh my god. Even on Amazon they're really cheap. Jesus, $88 for a 5 hex like that? Oh my god. Yo. That's cool. The other thing I'd mention to them is that it's loud in there. It's just like a warehouse back there. So I was explaining this like super simple method of making acoustical tiles. If they could hang some, you just take these the double wide drop ceiling tiles that are rectangles. You take those because they're insulated on the other side, and so you flip them upside down and you just black spray paint them. and then you just get I don't know what size wood, but you frame them in super. You don't have to do a good job. You just do a shitty job of framing them in because they don't weigh anything. And you just frame it in real quick, throw a couple eyelets in there, and then you put a couple of wires and just loop them up over the rafters, and you can hang a bunch of them down, and they do an incredible job as sound abatement. Well, they're not sound abatement. They take care of the echo, because yeah, this is all like flat walls. So it's just like we're standing right next to each other, like what? What? Say that again. It's crazy. Let's let this keep rolling here at 25% speed. See, like little moments like this, these are where the 120 frames is just absolute magic. Catching those like little headlight glares. Come on now. So yeah, I didn't have quite enough time to get dialed into this layout either, right? This is a brand new layout for me, but I certainly will. At the old place, they used to tape the layout down to the carpet, and so they would change it every few weeks. This is painted, so this layout is never going to change unless they paint over it and I guess eventually they'll probably change it, but this layout will stay the same. Oh wow, I got almost all the way under that. Yeah, these guardrails, they're 3D printed guardrails. They're exactly low enough for me to get stuck under. But what's absolutely hysterical is that they can help me get out. They saw me stuck under there, and they came and bumped me out. Ready? He's bumping me out right now. Bump, bump, bump. There he goes, and now I'm free. There we go. So yeah, with the little low camera mount, the tiny whoop becomes super flat. And so it's exactly the wrong flatness for these little 3D printed guardrails. Let me slow it. Hold on. Let's go back and let me slow it down. Man, it looks terrible in full speed at 120 frames. You lose so many frames in between. That's wild. We dealt with that. You know, that's one of the first things I noticed, though. You know, we've been talking about that with the 2S 75mm rigs railing around the front yard for the past few weeks. So yeah, that's a given. When I like I said at the beginning of the stream, I didn't necessarily notice much of a difference in terms of latency between 4K 60 and this 1080 120. I'm on the goggles too, though, and so at 1080 120, the goggles too are not in the lowest possible latency mode. If I drop down to 1080 100, I would actually get a little latency drop, but it's not about latency. It's about getting the best footage that I can, and so I would rather have the 120 the extra 20 frames to slow this down even more. Although now that I'm seeing how dark this is, and to be honest, how slow this really is at 25% speed, I actually don't think I'll do 120 frames anymore. I think I'll start doing 100 frames. That'll let the shutter speed, in theory, bump up to 1/100 rather than 1/120. That's not that much extra light, but every little bit helps. I don't know if this camera system will do 1/100th of a second. It might go directly from 1/120th to 1/60th. So in that case, I won't get any extra light, but I will get that reduction in latency. And this, so if you want to get it to 30 frames and you do 120 frames, you can do 25% speed, which is what you're watching here. If you film in 100 frames and you come down to 30 frames, you're going to go to 30% speed. So this is 25% speed, and it is like definitely slow enough. And so the difference between 25% and 30% is basically nothing, and I can get a little bit better latency on the goggles too at 100 frames. So I'll probably use the 100 frames. Also, it's small. The file size is going to be smaller at 100 frames, right? 20 less frames a second. And so, yeah, I'll probably start using the, if I'm gonna shoot for high-speed footage like this, I'll start using the 1080-100 instead of 120. But again, you know, tonight was about testing, and this was a really good test. And this looks good. I'm really happy that the lights aren't flickering. I was really worried about the lights flickering. Got a little orbit here. Oh, God, look how good that looks. Oh, look how good the orbits look! Oh, yo! That is... I had a feeling it was going to look good in the goggles. So I'm doing a really fast orbit. Like, look how much the nose is pointed down, right? Like, this is 0 camera angle, but look how much I'm burying the nose, because I'm doing a really fast orbit here. Again, I'm flying in this really high frame rate, so I'm trying to fly very fast, because I know that I'm going to slow it down. I'm not going to use this footage at 100 frames a sec at 100% speed, because it's going to look dumb because of all the missing frames in between, right? So if you're going to fly in this and use this footage in the high frame rates, yeah, expect to slow it down. If you're doing cinematic flying, if you're doing freestyle flying, it doesn't matter, right? If you want good looking flight footage from this freestyle, you're going to be 4K 60 or 1080 60, and you're just going to have to deal with the extra latency, because yeah, if you play freestyle footage filmed at 100 frames a second, it's going to be jumpy, because when you fly freestyle, you're flying fast, right? And so the gap between the frames is going to be gigantic. You're going to travel 5 feet between the one frame and then the 3 skipped frames and then the next frame that it plays. And so you'll get that flip book sort of effect. Man, printing these Batwing mounts flat makes it really hard to get all that support material out of there. This was incredibly fun, and you can see all the crashes, some of them harder than others. The O4 Lite absolutely held up. I did have a couple scenarios. So this is the newest O4 Lite, the one that I just got from Pyrodrone. I did have a couple scenarios where during a crash, the flight footage froze, and I was worried that I was going to start having that issue that I've heard a couple people talking about, where it freezes and then it doesn't come back to life. But it froze for like 5 or 10 seconds, and then it came back every time, which was awesome. So that made me really happy. But what's interesting is I mean, I was crashing into like concrete and whatnot. The outdoor crashes that I've had on the 75mm rigs have been like primarily into like bushes and grass and shit. So this is the first time that I've had like really sudden sharp crashes with the O4 Lite. I've not had that weird it freezes thing with any of the outdoor crashes. So that was a little weird, but again, it could just totally be the difference between hitting something hard and hitting something, you know, grass, dirt, whatever, branches, shit like that. It came back every time. I never had to cycle the power. So the problem that a lot of other people was reporting is that during crashes with the O4 Lite, it freezes and then doesn't come back. So it just freeze frames, and then you have to power cycle the quad. So you have to take the walk of shame. Or, I mean, if it's somewhere that you can see it, you can try to fly it home line of sight. But yeah, you gotta go, you gotta power cycle the damn thing, which is not the end of the world, but certainly annoying. And it's not something that we've had to deal with Walk Snail, for example, right? So the DJI haters are using that as one of their main, like, see, DJI sucks points. But yeah, I had it happen one time on one of the 75mm rigs, but it hasn't happened since. And every time it happened tonight, which was only like maybe 3, maybe 4 times, after like 5 or 10 seconds, the video came back and all was right with the world. This is just a little bit too dark, which is just a little bit. Some of this footage is pretty damn good. I mean, this Saturday, apparently there's going to be a ton of insane. A couple of these drivers that are here are unbelievably good. So a couple of these guys that I was chasing are great, but apparently there's going to be like 40 like super top level drivers. So it's fine that I fucked up the exposure on this one. And so now this is me trying to chase a tiny whoop without realize. It took me like an entire half a battery to realize that I need to not. This is me chasing the tiny whoop rather than chasing the car like an idiot. Chase the car. Don't chase the tiny whoop. It's a tiny whoop chasing a car, and then I'm chasing the tiny whoop. So like it's like double delay on everything. Towards the end here, I realize my mistake and I start chasing the car, and then my follow footage of the tiny whoop gets a lot better. But yeah, this was super, super, super fun, especially to be doing this in 120 frames is just awesome. So yeah, really, really, really fun night tonight. Absolute blast to be chasing these guys again. And this layout is really cool. It's I'm already starting to see some really cool ways that I can kind of like show. So one of the difficult things with drift car chasing is when there's a train of cars, what do? Like, do you just back off and give like this Mavic style footage to show the entire train of cars? Because, you know, to have a bunch of cars together like that is really, really difficult. And your job, like, you know, you're flying for them basically, right? But the problem with that is like, then, you know, you're just like, well, this is too easy. And it's literally like less fun to do that. This layout, I'm already starting. So like one of the really cool challenges is to find angles where you can show 2 or 3 cars, but still get close to them. So you're having fun flying and it's more impressive and you're showing the hoe train. And I'm already starting to kind of figure out spots where I can do that, which is really, really cool on this layout. The way that this track was laid out really, really, really works. It's really cool. It has a good mix of corners. It has a good sort of like overlap, and it's got a really good variety. And so like, it's not just the same thing over and over again. So it's challenging, but at the same time, like it's also like it doubles back on itself quite a bit. So I can just like jump a lane over and pick another car up. If somebody crashes or something like that. It's really cool. They did a really, really, really good job with this. Yeah, there we go. Super cool. Yeah, so you see how I let that gap increase like that? That's because I was chasing the tiny whoop. I wasn't chasing the car. If I was chasing the car, the gap would not have increased like that. And so eventually you'll see the quality of the chase improve as I realize that and stop being the dumb. Even though the tiny whoop is the subject, the subject is chasing another subject, right? Makes sense. All right, I've torn all of the support material off of all of these bright ass yellow Batwing and Brain camera mounts. Look at this massive pile of waste. I'm saving the purple and red TPU waste to send off for it to be turned back into filament. Okay. Hang on 1 second. Shit. Oh, my back hurts. Oh, balls. mailbag in a second. Here we go. Hold on. Check out my mailbag, bitches. Oh, this is still playing? Oh, we'll wait a minute. As a reminder, free Propodials in every single order that you guys place on the Etsy store. So go get yourself something. Buy something for like $5, which basically covers shipping, and get yourself a Propodial. I'm shipping them in. Well, I have them in violet, red, green, blue, yellow, and orange soon. If there's a specific color you want, just put it in the notes of your order. Otherwise, I'm going to send you the nice dark purple, the violet, because I printed a ton of them in that TPU. But if there's a specific color you want, by all means, because, yeah, I'm making them in all of the different colors to break this 3D printer in. At one of these days, I'm really struggling to get caught up from the basically entire week of my life that I lost to a pretty nasty depressive episode last week. So I'm admittedly struggling to get caught up on the hundreds and hundreds of messages on, you know, the 8 different places that that I get messages. But at some point here, when I get caught up, I will be taking pictures of all of this TPU and putting it up on the Etsy store. And so you can buy yourself a Batwing mount in whatever color you want, and then that's the color of the Propodial that I'll ship you. So if you order, you know, some Batwings in the orange, you'll get an orange Propodial. But for right now, I'm just including the violet Propodials with everything, because I printed a ton of those, because I have a ton of the violet TPU. I got a little carried away, but that's okay. There's some interesting artifacting happening in this grass, which I'm assuming is a combination of noise from ISO 800. You can really see over here. This is the grain and the noise that you get when you start to go up in ISO. But also, this could be bitrate related. This strange artifacting, you can kind of... I can see it because I'm watching this on a nice big monitor, not through the internet and through YouTube's horrible compression. But... oh, Christ, what did I just do? But yeah, there's some interesting things happening here. But yeah, it's hard to tell whether or not that's just noise from ISO 800 or if that's a bitrate thing. So you can really see it. Hold on, let me see if I can catch it. So you can really see it up here. Watch the white painted lines. Watch these white painted lines right in here. Ready? Right on the right side. Watch this. I'm gonna try to pause it, but there you go. See what's happening there? That's a little ugly. But hey, it's an 8-gram camera and VTX combo. The fact that it's doing any of this is ridiculous. This is me being ultra nitpicky. This is extremely impressive. I'm blown away by the quality of this. Ooh, boy. Yeah, it was really struggling there with the little tree. Hold on. See if I can pause it. So it was right over here. That's when I start going back forwards. Ready? And right up here. It's hard to see. When I do an edit, you might see it, or I might try to edit it all out. But this is insane. 1080, 120 frames a second. This, I believe... So the walk snail setup is 1080 60. I think so. This is 1080 120, which, you know, so double the frame rate. That's great. But I think the quality of the video here looks better than Walk Snail. Even if this was 1080 60, same as Walk Snail, I'm pretty sure that this quality looks better than the Walk Snail Lite system does. So, yay! You get twice the frames. Not sure how the latency compares. It's probably similar enough that it doesn't really matter. I'm looking forward to getting really dialed and being able to chase these guys nice and close. I think that is all the flight footage that I've got. Nope, one more. One more. And we're chasing. Really cool R32 that we're chasing for the majority of this one. I'm going to run it full speed, and then I'm going to, like, dynamically change this to slow it down. Ah! A gnat just landed on my face. Get out of here, gnat! Yeah! The double chase. Oh, yo! Oh, that's too good. That is too good. Yeah. Oh, man. So fun. Even that's great. All right, let's see what else we got. So this is the last file from the O4. As soon as this is done, we'll do, you guys can check out my girthy mailbag. Hey. Yeah, I felt rusty doing this. But what I think is also going on is that they are going a lot slower. So, again, since they're going slower, I'm dealing with more ground effect. I'm having to fly flatter, and so that's sending more thrust down, and then that's creating a lot of turbulent air down really low. And so I think that's just something I'm going to have to get used to. And, you know, like, when I first started doing this a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, maybe, I don't know. There was a huge adjustment period. Like I had to fly hundreds and hundreds of batteries to get used to them on the carpet. And so I'm willing to bet that I will, oh yeah. Oh yeah, bro. See, I want to be able to stay down there. This bouncing up and down is what's driving me insane. And this bouncing up and down is what's been the hardest thing for me to get really good at. Just being able to control my altitude between 1 inch and, like, you know, what am I at now? 5 inches high? I want to be between 1 inch and 2 inches off the ground. And that's just really difficult. Like, if you look at anybody else's RC drift footage, like, that's the biggest difference between me and them. And it's just, I've put way more time into it. You know, I've chased RC drift cars probably more than everyone else combined. And I've only really seen like 3 or 4 other people doing it. And so, yeah. I'm hoping that I can clean this up. I'm hoping Saturday I can kind of get in the groove and clean it up. I might even try to continue pushing the expo up. I might try 60 expo or even 70 or 80 expo. But one of the things that I do remember between Walk Snail and Analog was the latency. The increase in latency going to the digital systems, especially when you're trying to, you know, change your altitude 1 inch at a time, that's a big deal, right? Another like 15, 20, 25 milliseconds of latency, that's going to make it significantly more difficult. Here's the computer being a heap of shit. So, we'll see. I'm sure I'll be able to get used to it a little bit, but like, you can only really get used to latency a little bit. Like it's getting used to it means like you react a little bit earlier, but you can't see the future, right? And so like that's why latency is so important, is because when you get really good, the better you get, the more the latency holds you back. Because the better you get, the quicker your sort of reactions get in a way. But if you've got like a 20-25 millisecond jump in latency, that's never going away. You're always going to have to sort of deal with that. And so analog will still always be king. Analog and HD0 actually will always be king. You know what? That's what I'm doing with my AI-O5. Yeah, 100%. Right. Why didn't I... Yeah. So I put the AI-O5 into... You know what? I think I did. I went for a ride, I remember. I put the AI-O5 into the 75 millimeter rig to fly it outside to see if, being able to see the scraggle a little bit better kind of brought it... It made me want to fly it more, and it just didn't. Like 2S is just so much better for flying outside. And so, yeah, the AI-O5 is absolutely going to be put into a little RC drift car chasing rig. That's a no-brainer. And then I will use it. Steve brought the, I don't know if this is a different chassis or just a different body on top. But he brought the muscle car out, and this is the last battery. I'm sure of it. I was relatively dialed at this point, so this could be pretty cool. I almost like it better at 50% speed. It's the 25% speed. Like there's a couple little moments that are really cool, and I will have a blast speed ramping down all the way to 25 like this. But it's a little too slow. It doesn't need to stay in 25. So this is 50% speed. And this is about right. There's me finally getting used to the wall. So that's the move. This is really what I want down that straight, is I want to generate a bunch of momentum and then be out in front of them like this. But so this is me finally getting used to avoiding that wall, right? Like I know the wall's coming. Oops, put right roll in, keep it off. Just barely scrape the wall. And then away we go. Ah. I remember seeing the flagpole and being like, nah, it'll be all right. There's no way I'll just bump straight into it. Nope. Yay. Oh, yeah. That is just as cool as I thought it was going to look. See, like that's a moment where, like, so I come here and then I speed ramp down and you're like, why is he speed ramping down? That's why, bro. And then you pop back up to 50% speed. Very cool. I'm super happy with the results from this rig. I was getting 2 minutes to 2.5 minutes of runtime, so just like exactly what the walk snail rig was getting, which makes sense. It's only like 1 gram heavier, so the runtime is totally fine. I think the shortest runtime that I got was like a minute and 55. One battery I got like 2 minutes and 40. I don't know what happened, but yeah, the runtime is completely fine for like this style of flying. I then flew the analog rig and got 5 minutes. I was like, oh my god. But yeah, I mean, look, it's 4K 60 or 1080 120. What do you expect? And it's an extra 8 grams. It's like 50% more weight. It's a huge increase. The fact that we can do this at all is ridiculous. Anything over 2 minutes and I'm happy. And also the batteries are happy, right? If you've got a build that's draining your batteries in less than 2 minutes, you are putting way too much heat into those batteries. and you're only going to get like 30, maybe 20, maybe 40 cycles out of those batteries before the internal resistances go nuts. So don't do that. You know, you want bare minimum 2 minutes. Also, like, flying for less than 2 minutes and then having to change the battery, it sucks. Like, at like the 1 minute point, you're just getting into it and you're just starting to feel it. If you have to then get like and then maybe you like crash at like 1 minute and 20 seconds, and then you got to get back into it, and then you got to change the fucking battery. So like anything over 2 minutes, I'm happy with. The fact that I was getting like, I think also because they're on polished concrete and they're going slower, I'm that's absolutely why. I'm actually getting a little bit more runtime. I remember back with the walk snail rig, there would be a bunch of times where I would get 1 minute and 55 seconds over and over and over again. And it's because they were going faster, and I was having to go faster, and then I was having to turn harder, and then I was having to go faster and then turn harder. Now they're going slower, so I'm just flat the whole time. So I'm damn near hovering the entire time. So yeah, that helps with runtime, which is cool. Okay, I've completely ignored the chat since 10:02. I apologize, but I'm obviously super excited by this. William Loesch tagged me and said, "Does the lens on the O4 Lite bother you? I remember it being a big deal for some people after initial release." I have not thought about it once. I've probably flown 200 batteries at this point through the O4 system, and there's not been one single time where I've gone, you know what, this low FOV lens is really making it harder for me to fly. Would a slightly wider field of view be a little bit better? Probably. But alternatively, for stuff like what I was just showing you guys, having less field of view is more zoomed in on the subject. And the closer you are to the subject, the cooler the flight footage looks. So, you know, pluses and minuses. Oh, hold on. I want to see what those batteries bounced back to. I want to see what the batteries bounced back to. So these are all the batteries that I flew. I'm just going to hook a bunch of these up to the ViFly and just read the numbers out. Oh my God. That can't be right. Hold on. There we go. 3.75. 3.68. 3.7. 3.76. 3.71. 3.69. 3.71. So this is perfect. 3.69. So I don't have to storage charge any of these. These are close enough to 3.8, 3.68 that I don't have to storage charge them, which I absolutely love. 3.78. Damn, some of these I could have flown for probably 20 more seconds. 3.78 and 3.68. So I could have absolutely flown these batteries down for another 15, 20, maybe even 30 seconds. I don't like to do that. I'm totally happy with the runtime that I'm getting. It saves me from having to storage charge these when I get home, and it makes these batteries last longer. And so, yeah, I'm totally happy with where these things are at. I'm bringing these in when at a dead hover, I'm at like 3.45 to 3.5 volts per cell. And that's how I have the battery warning set. So yeah, perfect. That's exactly what I did with the walk snail rig. This is like sort of standard. This is what I do with everything really. That's when I like to come on home. And like I said, makes the batteries last longer. You don't have to storage charge, and you're still getting like the bulk of the runtime. What's cool about that being your norm is that if you're in a scenario where like there's something really cool happening and you need to fly for like 20 more seconds, you can. If your norm is running the batteries all the way down to the point where they bounce back to like 3.5 volts per cell, then like in that scenario you can't. They're gonna like fall out of the fucking sky. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that you make that your norm. But you do you, my friends. But remember, the farther you run batteries down below 3.5 volts per cell, the more damage you're doing to those cells. Is that everything? I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. Oh, hey, 661FPV. I need your info for the battery. Great Scott, I need your info for the battery that you won, the BT 3.0 batteries. I searched for both of you on Patreon and I can't find any of your info. I think one of you messaged me somewhere, but I can't find it. So Great Scott and 661, if any of you guys are in touch with them, if they're not in the chat, let them know that they need to reach out to me somewhere for me to ship them their batteries that they won. The custom Tiny Whoop build that's on the Etsy store is getting different motors put onto it. It's getting 32,500 kV motors with the 1.5mm motor shafts. So I'm going to pull the listing down. Well, I mean, in case any of you just want it that are watching right now. So this is a iFlight Blitz AIO with their little piggyback VTX, old school Mobula 6 canopy, Runcam Nano 3, whip antenna, the 1.5mm motor shaft, Weebleed 0702 32500s, Newbie Drone Cockroach V3 frame, Cockroach 65 V3 frame, and custom tune and an A30. Is this A30? I don't know, whatever the black BT 2.0 is. I think it's A30. Yeah, this is for sale over on the Etsy. If you want this, go buy it on Etsy. On the Etsy store, it says that it has the 36,000 kV motors, but I took them off of it for this thing. So I swapped the motors over. Yeah, this iFlight Blitz AIO is totally fine. I don't love that it has the piggyback board as the VTX, which is one of the main reasons I'm not keeping it. Also, just I don't need another Tiny Whoop. But yeah, there's a live stream where I built, tuned, and flew this. It flies great. I was really happy with it. So you can look that live stream up if you want some flight footage, or you can just trust me. It comes with a Micro King sticker, CiottiFPV sticker. I'm shipping it in this little box so it gets to you safely. And I'll put some of the props on it. I'll put some of the 1.5mm motor shaft props on it. So yeah, look out for that. Unless somebody grabs it tonight, then you won't be able to look out for it because it'll be gone. What else did I put over here to remind myself? I'll also throw the little case for the screamers in. This is the case that the motors came in with, an extra set of motor screws. You can't use these longer motor screws though because it's the Mobula 7 V3 frame. No, I won't put this in there because it won't fit. I lied. It might fit. I'm not putting it in there. The very cool pink and blue cat / trans pride goggle straps are still available. If you do an Etsy order for anything and you put in the notes, yo, send me a goggle strap, I will send you one of these awesome goggle straps made by Pretty Fly. Very, very nice quality. Very cool painting. Painting? Printing. Check out my bag of nuts. This is a box from Newbie Drone. Some of you, I'm not going to open it right now, but Friday's live stream is going to be all about this. Some of you already know what it is because you know about my relationship with Newbie Drone. I might not answer any of the chat tonight because it's already 11:42 and I'm just doing mailbag. This is a box from Dan Mullinger. And he told me to open it on the live stream. And so that's what I'm doing. Always make sure that you cut towards yourself. It's important. There's a little sticker of Teddy Ruxpin on here. My God, did I ever want Teddy Ruxpin when I was a kid. But I think it was like outrageously expensive. And what a stupid thing. It's just a fucking tape player stuffed inside of a teddy bear. Ah! Oh, shit. Oh my God. What is this? How big is your 3D printer, homie? Holy shit. Yo. Oh my God, that is crazy quality. Let's see. Oh, dude, that is rad. Oh my God. All right, hold on. I gotta set it up properly. Oh. Oh. What goes there? All right, hold on. Yo. Is this TPU in here? All right, I don't know what goes here, but look at that, yo. Look at that. Obviously a battery goes here, but I wonder if this is, everything else is so perfectly sized that I wonder if there's a specific battery that's supposed to go here. Yo, that is awesome. Holy cow, that is really, really cool. His 3D printer is dialed. This is really, really clean. Oh my God, and this is insane. This is like, here, hold on. Look at how clean that is, yo. That's incredible. Wow, dude, thank you. This is rad. What is there a maybe not. Maybe it's just a slot for a battery. Damn. And so the inside is TPU. So it's all like nice and soft like this. The Vifly just like funk in there. Dude, that is awesome. Little thing here for your finger to go in, but also the cooling fan is there, so it'll let the charger breathe, and then it's notched on this side for the USB, and then so basically what I'm wondering is this sized for a specific battery power bank. I have one though that might, I think it's a little too big, but this is like one of the best sellers on yeah, this is a little too big. Oh, so close to fitting perfectly there. Dude, very, very cool, man. Thank you so much. This is awesome. I cannot believe the quality of this printing. Speaking of this battery, is it dead? Yeah, it's almost dead. Dude, awesome. Thank you. This is and then the whoop part of it is sized for a 75. So yeah, this is like, on one hand, this kind of makes me want to get the Whoopster V3, but since this is and look, there's the helipad logo on it. Since this is sized for 75, this is just gonna be the 75 case. The for bringing. Basically, this is gonna be a gorilla whooping case, really. Bunch of the these little fellas fit in here, dude. Awesome. This is rad, man. Damn. You guys are the fucking best, yo. Very, very cool. Are you willing to make these for people? You should make these for people. There's probably there's almost certainly someone that would buy one of these. Let him know if he's in chat. Get in there. Damn, dude. Latches. The latches are like full on. Oh my god, man. That is gnarly. The top of it has these little lips. Damn, dude. I think he said that this was his excuse to learn CAD. Well done, my friend. My goodness. This is awesome. The fucking the tooster fits in there perfect. Like it just and there's the perfect little thumb notches to get the damn thing out. It just drops in there, and this is TPU, so it's like it's so satisfying. Wow, man. Very cool, brother. Jesus. I'm looking to see if like these latches will let go. I would almost I kind of want to like let this sit on the desk like this for this guy to just hang out in there. Wow, man. Very fucking cool. Holy shit. That is awesome. And it is like just tall enough for this. The lid's got that extra little bit of clearance. It is exactly the right height. Dude, amazing. Thank you so much, brother. Damn. Brother, ooh. I did that in front of Azalea and her friend a couple weeks ago, and they like lost their minds. They were like, "Oh my god, you know what that is?" I'm like, yeah, I'm on Instagram, yo. What the hell? Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Wow, very, very cool. So this is gonna go in my little gorilla whooping bag setup thing, and it's perfect. It'll drop right in there, and the way I've been doing it, the whoop just bounces around in there. This will actually protect the damn thing, and then I'll be able to bring this with me as well, which will be awesome. Dude, super cool, man. Great work. You guys are making me want to learn CAD. The cold day in hell when I learned CAD. I wanted to do a giveaway for a shirt, but maybe we'll save that for Friday. I've got a medium shirt that I want to do a little simple giveaway, but we'll do that on Friday. I didn't think the flight footage would take so long to get through tonight. Okay, I gotta get caught up on chat. Sleepy CBR says hello. I thought I heard the dog. Yep, there he is. Render says what's up. Himok says, got a replacement flight controller from Beta FPV. Did the ELRS bench test and got around negative 107 RSSI. Is this fixable or should I contact Beta FPV? This is frustrating. I've never done the ELRS bench test. I don't know anything about it. But from what I've heard, the ELRS devs did a really good job on that page on their wiki talking about the ELRS bench test. So yeah, trust whatever it says in there. Render says, just rent some sky panels. In reference to there not being enough light back there. Cole Power says, were you running 4K 60 at SS of, shutter speed of 1/60th? If you're doing 1/20th, exposure shouldn't be any different than 4K 120 at 1/20th. No, so I had the exposure set to automatic. So when I was running 4K 60, it was able to drop all the way down to 1/60th of a second. And I actually forgot to talk about that. I did notice that there is a lot of motion blur in the 4K 60 flight footage, which is because it was at 1/60th of a second. So if you look at when I yaw a bunch, like there, that is a shit. That is more motion blur than I really want from subject-driven flying. Like, this is great motion blur for freestyle flying where you don't have a cool subject to look at, but like, look at my subject right now. It's just a big, ugly, blurry mess. You know, if I'm doing my job correctly, I should be keeping the subject pretty much dead center in the frame and as stable as possible. And so you can usually kind of get away with the shutter speed slowing down that much. But yeah, there are a couple moments where I really notice, like, yeah, like here, like jumping up over, it's just a big blurry mess. There's not a whole lot I can do about that, though. You know, like the solution to that is more light. Cranking the ISO up even higher beyond 800 is not a good solution to that issue. So yeah, we'll see if I can sweet talk them into more light. That would be awesome. If not, then, you know, what's interesting about that is that there will be shots that there will be more scenarios where the slow shutter speed ruins this looks like shit right now because it's too blurry. But at the same time, that will make it easier for me to edit this flight footage down, because it's like, that's ugly, get rid of it, move on to the next. And then the shots that I do get with the slow shutter speed that look good are going to look really good, because there's going to be motion blur all over the place, right? Like, look at all this motion blur up here. One of the things that you can do with motion blur is move the viewer's eye around. This is all so blurry that the viewer is not going to look at it. This is a little bit sharper, and so the viewer's eye is going to naturally get drawn towards this. This is one of the things that you'll do with motion blur in still photography, is you can use it for a sort of a purpose. With stuff like this, it's a little bit different, and I am going to lose like perfectly good shots because of it. So I would really rather have a little bit more light so that I can at least get the shutter speed up to like 1/120th. And so like maybe just one extra of this same LED light strip that's up in the rafters would be perfect for that. I will say this, I would kind of rather have too little light than too much. If you have too much light, I can't run and don't really want to run ND filters on these. And so, like, you know, having too little light like this is basically like shooting in golden hour. And I tend to do that quite a bit with FPV systems, because it allows me to not need to run an ND filter and still get some motion blur. So yeah, this is not the end of the world. I think it would be really, really, really nice to have just a touch more light. If that just means me dropping these two light stands down and kicking on these LED lights to get some nice cross lighting at a lower angle, maybe that's like, you know, that could be perfect. If that means me spending $50 on another LED light strip for them and crawling around and getting up on a ladder when they're not, you know, racing, that's fine too. Either way, we'll get it dialed in. Lewis says, do you know how to unbrick a UART based receiver on an AIO? I do not. I've never really dove into the how to unbrick stuff deal. 70 says, I'm an idiot to still know next to nothing about cameras. I've always wanted to set it. I've just always set everything to Oscar's best settings. Any 101 recommendations? Look, just go here on YouTube, just search for like, you could literally search for like camera settings 101 or like beginner camera settings. There are a bunch of people that have great videos that in like 15-20 minutes will teach you everything you need to know. All you need to learn is shutter speed, ISO. They'll probably dive into f-stop, which you really don't need to know because none of our action cameras give us the ability to adjust the f-stop, and ND filters. Shutter speed, ISO, and ND filters. And video is video. Understand that we get more motion blur because we are moving the cameras fast. Most of those videos will be talking about static cameras, but even handheld cameras where people are moving, they'll talk about motion blur. But just a general understanding of ISO, shutter speed, and ND filters will teach you like 95% of what you need to know to make much better looking video come out of your cameras. And it'll allow you to set them to a more manual setting, or at least bracket things in so that it doesn't like crank the ISO all the way up to the moon and give you this like horrible noisy footage that is technically exposed properly but looks like ass because it was at ISO 72 billion. Render says you can use a deburring tool or a razor, but FYI the deburring tools are sharp. EUC FPV set. So we talked about that. I'm using those plastic razor blades, which work really well. EUC FPV says, do you like the BI or CO3 camera more? Ordered both for a new build / spare. I like the CO3 more, but sometimes it's a pain in the ass to mount because it has a weird. It's taller than it is wide. It just means you have to get a different mount for it. But yeah, the CO3 looks better than the BI. That's for sure. If you want to take a look at pictures from both of those cameras, search my channel. Here's how you search somebody's YouTube channel. You go to their channel, and then you click this tiny little magnifying glass that's like hidden over here. You click that, and then you search for camera comparison. And I've done 2 live streams now comparing 8 different Whoop cameras. And the CO3 and the BI were in both of these. This one and this one. And if you're a patron, there's a Patreon post from a couple months ago with a link to a Google Drive with all of the screenshots so that you don't have to look at the images from these cameras through the live stream and through YouTube's compression algorithm. And so, yeah, there's a perk of spending $3 whole a month on my Patreon. There's a folder with still images. You can look at you can look at like 12 different cameras, head to head. Cole Power says you 100% have rafts enabled. Rafts? What are rafts? Rafts? Rafts. Raft layers, 0 layers. I don't have rafts enabled. It says right down here, raft. Raft layers, 0. What's that? You gonna give me a nice tool tip? Come on, give me a tool tip. Oh, man. Cole Power says, turn that shit down to 0 layers in reference to the other thing. Brim. I already turned brim down to no brim, so we're good. Oh my god, the brim width was set to 5 millimeters. That's why. It looks like there's still brim. Oh, that's interesting. It looks like the tree supports still have brim. Can I turn the brim off on the tree supports? Support. Enable support, tree slim, threshold angle. What the hell does that mean? On build plate only? What's that mean? Support critical regions only? No, I don't want that on. So it looks like the trees have to have the brims. That sucks. But yeah, I can see that the regular stuff doesn't have the brim turned on anymore. So that's cool. I'll be able to get the plastic blade under like that and then just yank it up. That should be fine. This guy's going to be a bitch though. These guys are going to be a bastard to get off here because they're brimmed all the way around. You know what? Let me actually, I don't like the way that these, I'm going to flip this upside down. How the hell do I do that? Not lay on face, not cut. Where the hell is it? Rotate. Oh, nope, that ain't it. Where's the rotate face thing? Is it lay? Oh yeah, lay on face. Yeah, that's it. There we go. I want to do. What's the keystroke for that? F. Okay, so I want to do that on this one as well. F. Lay it. Oh, that's kind of ugly. Well, whatever. We'll give it a try. And then F again. This one. F. Lay it back there. F again. This one. F. Cool. Teddy, easy, buddy. I think that's all 4 of the O4 mounts on here. All right, cool. Oh yeah, I have one of them that prints. I think I like it. I think I like this one that prints standing up the best. Which one is this? This is the O4 Batwing 10 degree. And then I also have this. This is the 20 degree standing up. What I tried to do is print like one of each thing laid down versus standing up. I didn't do a great job here though. Let me print this one like that. Cool. Yeah, like I'm trying to print everything in 2 different orientations so that I can compare them. What's this? Are these the same thing? These are the same thing. Lay on face. No, yeah, let's print it like that. That's kind of cool. Sweet. Oh! I wanted to print this backwards and forwards. Yeah, there we go. I've been continuing to forget to. I've been forgetting to do that. With that here, print this one on its face too. Whoa! No. Yeah. There we go. Need to move you a little bit. Yeah! Now we're cooking. Look at me go. The world's #1 3D printing channel. Yeah, how did... I mean... Who would have ever thunk it? Me. I thunk the shit out of it. Are these both the same thing? Nope. 10 and 20. And that's the V3. Yeah, okay. So we're good. Wait. What's this one? 0415. Oh! This one I need to print on the other face. I'm going to print it on this face. Yeah, print it up on this face because it's flat. Yeah! Look at your boy. All right. Let's slice this plate. Splutters bubbles. Wet TPU will generate strings during travel moves. Stringing and bubbling. Frank Nicholas says damp, moist filament will bubble, pop, blister when printed. You'll see voids when you look at the print lines where it spluttered. I have not had that at all. I have had a little bit of stringing here and there, but I've had no popping and blistering and voids or anything like that. Bimo, I've made sure to run the TPU in the dryer for at least an hour though, but like. After an hour, it still says that it's at 50, which I think is 50% humidity. If I leave it in there for like 5 or 6 hours, the humidity will get down to like 28 to like 35 or so. So sometimes I've printed it when it's still at 50. But I haven't had any of that weirdness. Other than just a little bit of stringing. Ooh, no, I don't want this. No. No. I can't have that on this. That ain't gonna work. It's because these guys are thicker. Is there a way to, I am having a problem with this micro cam. How the hell do I just, I just want to move down. Oh, God. How do I... Is there a way to just... No. Is it control? Nope. Is it option? I just want to... Nope. How do I... Ah, there it is. There it is. Is there a way to thicken this shit up? Like, these are so thin that they're breaking off when I pull it off the plate. Is there a way to, like, select this? I'd have to go back to prepare. So can I, like, select this and tell it to be thicker? Fill bed, clone, simplify. What if I do simplify? Oh, God, no, don't do that. Oh, wait, no, maybe that's it. Detail level? Oh, God, decimate ratio? That sounds scary. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Hold on, no, hold on. Center, mirror, delete, add part, add negative, add modifier. Rounded, no. Out, support blocker, support enforcer, height range modifier, printable. Edit in parameter table, reload from disk, replace, export, convert. I think simplify model might be the move. Simplify model, detail level, medium, high, extra high. Oh, it shows me. Oh. Oh, interesting. So I bet you it's on like, all right, so if I hit cancel, okay, so it's on like extra, all right, so I'm going to try this. Well, wait, hold on. First off, I need to flip this other one over because I don't want all those trees on it. That was a bad move. So F, flip it over. Okay, so now it's not going to have all the trees. Is it printing backwards now? Okay, so yeah, here, and then simplify. Okay, so yeah, right now it's on extra high. Oh, see, that doesn't really make it thicker. But I wonder if that'll help. All right, well, I'm going to do it on medium, and I'll see if that helps. Apply. Okay, cool. See if that helps. Well, actually, if I slice it, it'll show me the paths, and maybe that'll help a little bit. Let's see what that looks like between the two. Doesn't help me at all. I'll try it, though. See, like, the main problem, right, is... Jesus. The main problem is, like this. These little things on the M, they're just tiny. And, like, this little part of the K. And so when I get it off the plate, it's just ripping these off. And, then, like, this part of the R, it's, like, super, super skinny. The G is fine. So then it doesn't look like it says Micro King anymore. It looks like... But we'll see how this is. One of them is simplified, and the other is not. All right, neat. You guys are probably answering me in the chat right now, but I'm still looking at the chat from 10:13 p.m. 2 full hours ago. Be More Ride and Grind says, Happy Wednesday, listening to the stream while flying batteries before bed is quickly becoming my favorite routine. Love it. Yin Yang says, in Fusion 360 right now, actually I tried a piece of foam, but it was too soft. I think good call on the adjustments. Nice. Yin Yang also says, I wonder if we could add a small ramp to help keep it pressed against the shape of the frame. Anything you design, I will print and let you know. Oh, shit. It just scrolled to the bottom of chat. Oh, this is going to be hard to find where I was. Oh, my God. Nope. Jake FB says, I'm having some... what I think to be balancing issues with the top spins. The second I put them on an existing perfectly flying build, they freak the tune out. Same size and KV as before. I did not have that issue. I found them to be perfectly balanced. I would get in touch with Tiny Whoop and be like, yo, I put these on a build that was fine, and it's freaking out. Can you help me? Mutterson says, is that why Tiny Whoop started selling motor mount spacers? No way. Yep, probably. Craig says, howdy gangly gang. Craig also says, what size whoop for 30-gram video? What? Oh, 30-gram video system? Oh my god. At least 2-inch. Yeah, I mean, at least 2-inch. You will not want to go smaller than a 2-inch rig with a video system that's that heavy. Why the hell is OpenIPC that heavy? Good lord. FizzPV says, can you do that kind of rig with a Meteor 75 Pro frame? I'm not totally sure by what you mean by that kind of a rig. I'm going to take a guess that you mean an O4 rig. You absolutely could, but the performance is not going to be very good. The Meteor 75 Pro frame is really like analog only for really good flight characteristics. Essentially, 1S is for analog. The 75 Pro frame will not, you can't put a 2S battery in it. So there's just no way to run it on 2S. As if you want good freestyle flight performance with anything heavier than analog or like an AIO5 HD0 board, you're going to want to go 2S for freestyle. For chasing little RC drift cars around, weight is everything. And so like I sacrifice everything for lightweight. The flight characteristics are not great, but it's okay. We're just trying to get the weight down to stick with these little guys that are changing directions quite a bit. Andrew Taylor says that Ant is a scout. He's hoping to earn his learn to fix whoops badge. Cole Power says ants send scouts that lay a pheromone trail. If they find something tasty, they lay down a different pheromone to tell other ants where to go. That's true. Ants are awesome. They are fantastic little creatures. Ants is one of my favorite movies of all time, actually. Technique FPV says, good evening. Metal Dirtskin says, tell Teddy if he doesn't behave, you'll change his name to Top Gear Dog. Just Mo says, hey, how you doing, man? It's been a while. Have you used the Hummingbird Raceback 3.1? Yep. And I actually, like one live stream ago, sorry guys, I just changed the camera mount to one that actually functions properly, and I flew a bunch of batteries on it. So go back to Monday's live stream, and there's me talking about it and flying it a bunch. Islander FPV says, perching in the bed of that drift truck was excellent. Yeah, I did it a bunch. I got it stuck in there at one point, actually. Andrew Taylor says, soldering question. I saw advice that when you finish to leave solder on the tip to prevent oxidation. Is that right, or should you leave it clean? Yep. On the Soldering 101 live stream that I did a week ago or so, I talked about that. The sequence of events is you take the soldering iron out of the stand, you clean it, you do your work, you put it back in the stand. The sequence of events is not take it out, clean it, do the work, clean it, back in the stand. Out of the stand, clean it, work, back in the stand, move on. Saves you time, and it prevents the tip from oxidizing. Some people that are crazy will actually tin the tip of the soldering iron before they put it back in the stand. I've not had issues with soldering iron tips not lasting a long time, and so I'm not going to go through that extra step or waste that extra solder or create those extra lead fumes. Raise FPV says, hey bro, hope you're doing well. Sorry we're late. Moss1 says, would putting throttle mid as a knob setting help? It would, but you can't do it. Betaflight does not let you do that. Islander FPV says, how does a tiny whoop drift rig fly on tri-blades? It slides a little bit less, which you may or may not like. Tonight, I ran this on the HQ Ultralight 1.2 by 1.2 by 2 biblades. Next time, I'm going to be on the 1.2 by 0.9 tri-blades. With that wall being so close, and with these guys being as slow as they are, excuse me, relax. My God. Jesus. I think that the tri-blades are the move, but I want to at least give when when they were running on carpet, and he's gone now. When they were running on carpet, and I had that extra speed, I kind of like the tri-blades. Now that they're going slower on the polished concrete, I kind of thought like I want a little bit more slide from the bi-blades, but it I don't think it matters nearly as much because I'm so flat now. On the carpet, I was at more of an angle, and when you're at more of an angle, the 2 or 3 blade makes more of a difference. The flatter you are, the less of the blades are gonna clear the guards. So I don't think it's gonna matter that much, but I want to try it both ways anyway. So yeah. Metal Gertson says, I had that experience chasing RC planes. It's super fun. Yeah, man. Ridiculous. Subject-driven flying is incredibly fun. Alley Cat's in the house. She says that RC drift spot is awesome. It is indeed. Smoking Dog Cujo says that place would be awesome to put some whoop gates in. If I cared about racing, you'd be absolutely right. There are not many people in this area that tiny whoop. It's like me and Patrick. So yeah, there's not much of a, if any, of a tiny whoop racing scene around here. It's kind of funny, but I mean, it makes sense, right? Atlanta is like this 5-inch place to fly office parks and shit. Denzel the Turbo says, now that you have a 3D printer, you could make some of those hex lights with some LED rope and a bit of soldering. I'm not sure which ones you mean. Which hook me up with a link. Andrew Taylor says that track would look awesome with more practical lights, like along the guardrail. The street lights are cool, but I guess too many would get in your way. Yeah, they have all kinds of plans for like decorating the track, which makes it way harder for me. At the last place, they had a bunch of stuff on the outside, and I would hit it a lot. So I'm gonna fly the hell out of this right now that they don't have a lot of things trackside for me to hit, because yeah, I mean, every single little flag that they add, I just hit all the time, and then like I knock them over and they get in the way of the cars, and it's like, so like right now the current setup of that track is the best it'll ever be for tiny whooping. But it does look cooler when you have more stuff. It just, yeah, becomes a lot harder to fly. But, you know, it's an RC drift track. It's not a tiny whoop track, right? Andrew Taylor also says, then a hard light from far away to simulate sunlight, moonlight, and a softer source from the ceiling to fill in the shadows. Gaffed a car commercial this week and got some good tricks. LOL. Yeah, that's one of the things that I loved about dropping my light stands down at the other layout and having some like 45-degree angle light kind of coming in. So I'm definitely gonna mess around a little bit with this spot, putting some not super boring overhead light in. Moss One says, nice footage in orbit. Props, buddy. Thank you, dude. Cole Power says, if you can figure out when you want 2.5x and 0.5x, you can do 4K 60 ramped down to half speed, or 4K 120 and do 0.25. So the O4 Lite will not do 4K 120. It'll just do 4K 60, which is kind of perfect because like general flying and playing back in full speed is 4K 60. And then if I want to do like 1 or 2 batteries with like crazy super high frame rate stuff, I can kind of do that. But the majority of the flying is in 4K 60, and that's like great because, you know, 4K 60 dropping it down to 50% is about right. That at 25, like we were talking about before, that at 25% speed, like that's super fun for like a minute, but at 50% speed, it looks really, really good. And that's about right. So most of the flying I'll do, probably like 90%, is going to be 4K 60, which is great because then there's the, you know, I get the extra pixels. Sacrifice a little bit of latency, but that's fine. Cole Power says noise plus low bit rate equals smearing. Yeah, that's true. Those two things do kind of feed into each other in that way. Frank Nicholas says horizontal crappy looking white lines, maybe, oh, good call. Rolling shutter looked a little like the 2 me. Yeah, good call. That's true. Rolling shutter, when motion starts moving quickly, rolling shutter can pop up in really weird ways. And at a 120 frames, a shutter speed of 1/120. The faster the shutter speed, the quicker the rolling shutter is going to roll through the image, and the weirder the stuff can kind of happen. Cjo says, do you think Walksnail will get where DJI is right now? Eventually, but it'll probably take them at least a year, if not like 2 years. Himok says, I got a replacement flight controller from Beta FPV. Oh, okay, we already talked about that. Denzel the Terrible says, oh God. FizzPV says, what is a Propodial? I heard that right. Propodial is this really cool thing Chris Rennie, I believe is his name, made, which is an awesome little 3D printed prop remover. You slide it under the propeller, you loop it up out of the ducts. You loop it up like that, and then you've got an easy way to hold on to the propeller and pull the propeller off safely without fucking up the motor. You just want to make sure you don't twist. Do not twist. Just pull straight out. Awesome little tool. This, along with a prop puller, and you'll be able to get propellers off without destroying your fingers or motors. Arguably, you should probably also have a 0.99 millimeter drill bit, which I sell on my Etsy store, because like when you're pushing the propeller on, that's where you do the majority of the damage to the motor. And with these HQ ultralight propellers, the hubs on these are kind of fragile, and they're undersized. And so when you're pushing that propeller on, you're stressing that hub out, and that's going to make that propeller explode a lot easier. And when a propeller explodes, if it's on a rooftop, you ain't getting that rig back. And so really, you need a 0.99 millimeter drill bit. You need a 1.47 millimeter drill bit. I have more of these pin vices coming in to hold the two damn things, because otherwise you're going to be holding them with a pair of pliers, which is super annoying. You can get these drill bits on my Etsy store right now, which is linked on CiottiFPV.com. But you're going to want to have a pin vise, and I've got a whole bunch of them on the way. They should be here this weekend. And so, yeah, drill the props out, have a Propodial, have a prop puller, and you'll stop ruining motors that are at least $10 each. You'll have propellers stop exploding midair, and you'll have a better life. Your life will improve. That's how it works. Cjo says, what's the range for storage voltage for you? 3.7 to 3.8. If a battery is at like 3.7 or above, I'm happy. Sometimes 3.65, but yeah, around there. Denzel the Terrible says, it fits Mobula 6 or 7 and a tooth store, maybe a Whoop store, batteries, props, and Propodial, among other things. Dude, it's awesome. Thank you again. That is just fly as hell. Denzel the Terrible says, just loose batteries. Okay, cool. Cole Power says, I'm guessing the battery slot is for a battery caddy, something to hold multiple 1S cells. Denzel says, I can customize to anything in interior. Yeah, I wonder. I'm super curious, because like, you know, just the complete insane person in me wonders if there's a USB battery bank that's exactly the right size, and then I think you would want to put like a hole down here for the USB cable to go up, and then the USB cable coils in here, and then boop, and then hooks up to the little USB-C there, and then it's just like, can you imagine? But as it sits, you just take your you just put your cable in here and you just run it there. But that would be, you know what I mean? That would be just like the ultimate, absolutely ridiculous. If you're gonna make changes to it, though, what I will say is make it a tiny bit taller because the Beta FPV canopy is almost certainly a little bit taller than the Mobula 7 canopy. This is perfect for this Mobula 7 canopy. It just like perfectly holds the top of it. But yeah, if you're gonna make any changes to it, I would say just the tiniest little bit taller. It just barely. I can you can't see it, but I can see that it just. So the reason I can tell is because the antenna is like a millimeter higher, and when I close it that last little bit, I just see it go boop, and it just perfectly. Did you measure this? Like, did you? If you didn't measure this, it's ridiculous because it is. I think it's exactly this height from the top little bump here to the bottom, which is just insane. But yeah, with like any other canopy, I don't know if it would close without like cramming down on the tiny whoop. My God, dude, for a first shot though, this is ridiculous. You should sell this, man. This is insane. I don't know how much time and material cost it is. Who in the chat would buy one of these? Type I would. This is insanely cool. Fair warning though, as soon as people become interested in buying this, they're gonna ask you to make a specific one for 65. Nah, screw that. A 65 millimeter build will drop in there, and it like who cares if it bounces around a little bit? Don't make a 65 mil specific one. This is unbelievable, man. I'm like, my God. The reason why, the main reason why I say you need to sell this is because this looks like a legitimate product. Like this looks like something that could sit on a fucking store shelf. Like the layer lines are so tight that you can barely even tell that it's 3D printed. Just like the custom FPV cases, right? Like this looks like a proper like store shelf product. Awesome. So cool. Damn, dude. That's rad. The way that the toothster fits in there is just delicious. Moss1 says, there you go. Moss1 says, I'll buy one. There's probably a bunch of people that already posted they'll buy one. Kevin Summer says, it's 11:51. CiottiFPV just started reading chat. Feel says, I have a few bind and fly 75 2S. I'm learning tuning, and something I've noticed is that they have very high anti-gravity. Is that good for whoops? Well, are you saying that you're needing to raise the anti-gravity really high? Betaflight has a default anti-gravity setting, and that has increased in recent versions of Betaflight. If you're saying that you're having to increase the anti-gravity to a really high number, that's totally fine. You know, anti-gravity is fairly simple to adjust. You look for anti-gravity increases P. So you look for throttles is what Mark Spatz calls them, or like throttle bobbles. So you go full throttle and then you chop the throttle and you look for it to bobble around. You got to be careful. When you go quickly full throttle, part throttle, you want to make sure that you don't do a little semicircle, because that'll make it yaw and that'll make it do weird things. You got to be clean. You have to cleanly go quickly to full throttle and then cleanly back down to zero. And so you do that and you look for it to go off axis. The best way to fix that is to fix your center of gravity. Usually that is a problem where you have too much weight on the front or too much weight on the back, and that's what's causing it. So if you can fix your CG, like I did on this rig, by offsetting the battery rearwards to offset the weight of the camera on the front, that's the best way to do it. If for whatever reason you can't fix the CG and it's still doing it, you just raise the anti-gravity value, and then you do that again, and you just keep raising the anti-gravity until when you go full throttle and chop the throttle, it doesn't wobble around a little bit. So yeah, anti-gravity is pretty easy to dial in. And having a high number is no problem at all. Afil says, I've used black box logs to tune my whoops, all the sliders in PID tuning and also filter tuning, but for some reason when I'm doing a split S over a tree, my quad freaks out. So that has nothing to do with anti-gravity. Freaks out is not enough of a description for me to even begin to try to help. So yeah, I would need a lot more to go on than that. It's already 12:30 though, so we can't knock this out tonight. Maybe on Friday or a future live stream. Ask me and I'll have read the chat comment earlier than 2.5 hours in. Cole Power says, my dad, I always use brim. 5mm is fine. Brim is extremely useful for bed adhesion. If parts let go mid-print, turn brim back on. Cool. Cole Power says, lay on face and I'd print the canopy vertically. What's that mean? What's vertically mean? And which canopy are you talking about? Kevin Smith says, in case people don't know, the search on one's YouTube page is not visible on mobile or TV. Yeah, that's right. That's super annoying. Cole Powers says, scale it up. It's in reference to this. If I scaled it up, it wouldn't bolt down to the 25.5 by 25.5 mount pattern. I need to thicken. I need to thicken the letters up, which I doubt that I can do in here. But we'll see how this simpler setup prints. Somebody made one for me in black. It might have been Timmons, and it's oh, you know what? Oh, I need a smooth plate. This one that somebody printed for me was printed on a smooth print bed. And if you look at like the M, see how it turned into little round bastards there? It smushed on the smooth plate. The ones that I'm printing are on a textured plate, and they're not, and so it's not squishing in the same way. It's staying like sharper, and that's like the problem, right? So this see the M, the little knobblies on the M are just gone. Right? So this is, I need to print it on a smooth plate, I think. Because it's the same exact file. It's the same file between these two. Or maybe without brim it'll be better, but I don't know. It wasn't using brim on this. I think I need a smooth plate. I think that's the move. Because yeah, on the smooth plate it'll just out a little bit, and then that'll give it that little bit of extra thickness that I think it needs. A reason to buy something. Bamboo A1 mini smooth print bed. Oh, look at that one. That one's blue. Ooh. Kevin Sumner says, yes, scale up by the Z dimension. Oh, that's the thickness. Oh, that'll make it thicker. Prepare. Click it. Where's scale? Add part. Add negative part. How do I scale? Help. Scale. No. How do I scale you, little buddy? It wasn't in here, was it? No, it wasn't in there. I'll be interested to see if this simplifying thing helps at all. Add modifier. Ooh, add nope. Add support block. Nope. Add support and nope. layer height, move, rotate, scale. Hey, Z-axis. Let's try 150. It's pretty thin. Uniform scale. Okay, now what? Oh, no, that ain't what I want. What's the... I want you taller. No, it's definitely the Z-axis. Oh, I don't want uniform scale. Yeah, there we go. Okay. 150. Oh, yeah, there it is. Cool. Okay, so I'm now going... Get out of there. I'm now going to undo that simplify nonsense. Extra high, baby. Oh, it fucked it up. Hold on. Let me undo a bunch. Undo. 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 Yeah. Yes! Ah, the power of undoing. Oh, shit. No, hold on. Redo. Command Y. Redo. 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 Okay, no. Now. Undo. Yeah. Okay. I want to flip it back over. All right, good. Now it's in... Now it's still in high quality. Click it. Scale. No uniform scale. 150. Ooh! How you like me now? All right, so that one I'm going to do 150. This one, I'm going to do 200. Because I've been having a problem with it, so I might as well go all the way. I'm still going to buy that smooth plate, though, I got to be honest. Ooh! Yeah. The foremost 3D printing channel on YouTube. Hold on. The #1 3D printing channel on YouTube. Tins of the Temple says, those Micro King logo things do not need supports or brims or anything. Yeah, they haven't been printing with them. But they're a little bit thicker at the screw holes. And so when I flipped it upside down, it was sitting up on the thicker parts, and that's why it did the tree. So I then flipped it back upside down. Kevin Summer says, what do you mean by thicker, more height? Yes. But I still think that the smooth plate will allow that little bit of squishiness to just beef up the width of those. But we'll see. I'm super interested to see what it does at 150 and 200% thickness. YouTube did the thing, trying to find my place. Frank Nicholas says, simply takes segments out of curves. A curve/circle would have a longer straight segment and not look so curved around. Yeah, that's what I could kind of tell. And I was like, I don't think that'll really help, but maybe. We'll never find out because I turned it off. Drones In says, just got in, hope you were well. Lake Dog Life says, what were the run times like? 2 minutes to 2.5 minutes. Really good. Cole Power says, mustard-colored box with ketchup interior, killing it on the Micro King theme. Yeah, for sure. The Micro King logo looks great on the yellow like that, too. Really, really, really cool. Kino Zadello says, hey, gang, how do you make screen zooming? OBS hotkey or something? I'm on a Mac, and it is it's actually an accessibility thing for, like, folks that have vision problems. So it's built in... Apple has always done a great job with that. They have all kinds of really cool accessibility stuff buried in their OSs and even on their phones. One of my favorite ones on the phone in accessibility is it'll flash your flashlight, like blink, 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 when you get notifications, which is actually like really nice. If you're in a loud situation and like, you know, you have to get notifications, you put your phone down flat like this with the flashlight facing up, and it's like super obvious. It's really, really, really cool. But on the Mac desktop, at any time, you hold Command Option, and then it's the right bracket key, right down below the delete button. And I'm sorry, no, it's the plus. It's the plus and the minus. And yeah, so Control Option, plus and minus. Really, really nice. Cole Power says 65 millimeter only needs a printed insert to hold it without bouncing around. Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Good call. Cole Power says only scale to Z-axis. Good to go. He also says get a carbon fiber pattern build plate. Okay. I didn't know that existed, but now that I know it exists, you fucking better believe I'm getting one. I know that there's the holographic ones. Oh, that's too fucking cool. Kevin Summer says it's in the toolbar. Cole Power says if you want to get fancy, make the layers thinner and scale to taste. You can math out the number of layers you want. I'm not sure what that means, but we'll try this thickness thing first. Dronesen says, do you have a Amazon affiliate link for the helping hands you use? No, the OmniFixo is only sold. Well, so if you just hit my Amazon affiliate link that's on CiottiFPV.com, it's going to bring you to the nut grabber here. And like, you're good to go. You don't have to use specific affiliate links for specific products. When you hit an affiliate link, it drops that person's code into your shopping cart, and that's it. You don't even have to buy that item. You can buy a bunch of other items, and it doesn't matter. But the OmniFixo is not sold on Amazon. This is an interesting knockoff of it. But yeah, no, OmniFixo only sells them directly on their website. So yeah, just grab it off their website. This does not look like a very good copy of it. I would not get this. But what's interesting is that this is the overall pick. Yeah, see, no, this little spongy, no, don't get this. Yeah, get it from OmniFix's website. They sell direct. Well worth it. Frank Nicholas says old macOS Zoom shortcut is Control and mouse scroll wheel. Yeah, 2-finger slide up or down on the trackpad. The Magic trackpad has all kinds of cool 2-finger, 3-finger, even like 4 and 5-finger gestures you can do. Apache Smoke just woke up. What's up, dude? Just for the end of the stream. And Afeel with the last comment of the live stream, he says, yeah, so when I do a split S on the upside down, it's all good. But when I start diving down, my throttle is all the way down. And still my drone starts to throttle and yaws to the right. If you're not props in, go props in. I'm assuming that this is a tiny whoop. Try going to props in, and then if that still doesn't work, I think it's a lack of power issue. You want to go to a higher kV motor, or if you're still on PH 2.0, get onto BT 2.0. It sounds like it's running out of power. But going to props in, if you're not, might help it out. Denzel Terrible actually with the last live comment of the live stream, he says, none of those OmniFixo clones have the good parallel jaw clips. Yeah, you're right. You're right. They have the silly alligator clips. OmniFixo for life, yo. Thanks for hanging, my friends. My name's Aaron Ciotti. Go support me over on CiottiFPV.com. Somebody mentioned engineering plate. Engineering plate. Did another search for that. Be good friends. I'll see you on Friday. Love you. Bye. Look, the Canon software worked fine all night. See you Friday.
Bye.